Hello, Serendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf. Here we've got Dice Throne, Pyromancer versus Shadow Thief. So Dice Throne is yet another choose your character like battling kind of game. This time using standard fantasy archetypes, right? I believe the general lore of this is that like there's a mad king on his throne and he's like, he has this arena and he wants like all these warriors to fight and anyway, Dice Throne and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot with Dice Throne in general. I believe there's there's got to be, I think there's like over a dozen characters. There's also like a cooperative roguelike version of the game called Dice Throne Adventures. This is all that we have right now for Dice Throne. I recently got this this is actually a birthday present for my wife. I asked her, I texted a few days before I got this. I texted her and I asked her, okay, imagine that you are playing a VR game, like a virtual reality game, and you're in an arena and you're given a bunch of options for weapons and magic that you can use. Which of these following options would excite you the most? And I gave her a list of things that included like fire magic, ice magic, daggers, pet tiger, and sword and shield, a bunch of stuff. Most of the options I gave her did correspond to various Dice Throne characters, but I also put in some red herrings in there, like ice magic, to try to throw her off, to make sure that she didn't think that I was trying to figure out which Dice Throne thing to give her, because she was interested in Dice Throne and she wanted to at least try it out, and I wanted to just make sure that I got characters that she would appreciate. And I kind of suspected she would like fire and daggers and stuff, and lo and behold, she told me fire magic and daggers. So thankfully, the way that things are packaged, Pyromancer and Shadow Thief just happen to be in a box together. The other boxes include things like Ninja versus Treant, I think. I think there is a Tactician versus Vampire Lord or something like that. I can't remember exactly the pairings, but they're also like bigger boxes that have all the characters in them and stuff. But for now, we have this, and this is a standalone thing. You can just play with this with two players and you're good to go. But yeah, the nice thing is each character very, very neatly just sort of is self-contained in their little boxes here. So yeah, let's open up the Pyromancer, for example, and see what's in here. So each character has a board. It looks like this, right? Basically, it has various abilities. Sometimes they'll have a passive ability over here. They'll have one or more defensive abilities over here, but everything else is like an active ability that you trigger with certain dice results. And then, of course, an ultimate right here. Each character also has a reference sheet as well. You can see what each of their dice have. All the dice are the same for a character. So you can see that each dice for the Pyromancer has 3 flame, 1 blaze, 1 fiery soul, and 1 meteor. And so basically, people have described it as battle Yahtzee. There are a couple of phases, there's an income phase. The start of your turn, you resolve status effects. You get a combat point. Combat points are like the resource that you need to play cards. You can play cards if you want during your main phase. You draw a card at the start of your turn, and then in your main offensive phase, you offensive and defensive, whatever. You basically roll these dice, and you see what the options are, and you can roll up to 3 times. So let's say, for example, I want to keep this right here, and I'll roll these for my second roll. Okay, so I'll keep these here, and my third and final roll. Okay, so I look at all my results and I see what do I have here. So I could use these 3 to trigger the weaker version of Fireball. Let's see, what else do I have? There's also like small straight and large straight, which basically means a small straight is 4 consecutive numbers and large straight is 5 consecutive numbers. I do not have that. I have 1, 3, 4, and 5. So if I had a 2, I'd be able to do a large straight here. I don't really have anything else because I don't have the meteor symbol. So I could really only do Fireball. And just kind of, you choose whichever one you can trigger and you resolve the effects. And then if you're attacking the other person, then the other person does a defensive roll. And in this case, if someone's attacking Pyromancer, I would roll 5 dice and resolve, 1 damage for every flame, and again 1 fire mastery for every one of these. Right? You roll the dice and you see what you can do, and you resolve that effect. essentially. That's essentially how the game goes. There's a little more going on with like there's various cards that you can play to manipulate dice, or to like and things like that. And also, each character has certain status effects that they can deal. So the Pyromancer can do knockdown, which causes someone to skip their next attack or spend resources. Burn is self-explanatory. It deals damage at the during their upkeep phase, during an opponent's upkeep phase. Fire Mastery. The more Fire Mastery that Pyromancer has, she deals more fire damage. The more Fire Mastery she has, and then Stun is just like makes someone completely skip their turn. So yeah, that's basically how Dice Throne works. You just kind of you go back and forth, and whoever makes you each start with 50 hit points, 5-0, and whoever reduces their opponent to 0 hit points wins. Here's the Shadow Thief if you're curious. Shadow Thief does not have a passive ability either, but has 2 defensive abilities. And definitely does a lot of like poisoned, sneaking around, being like evading in the shadows, kind of a thing. So, but yeah, and also like stealing things, like stealing combat points or and stuff. So yeah, this is honestly the perfect thing. This is as an introduction to Dice Throne. This was perfect for my wife and I, because my wife loves these character archetypes. And I was interested in Dice Throne as well. We both were. And yeah, here we go. Will we get any more characters? I do not know. We have so many. I mean, we're trying to be more judicious with what board games we get. So it is possible we might get a few more characters for Dice Throne. I don't think we're going to go all in on Dice Throne. Who knows? We might in the future, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I'm very happy with having this right now. This is perfect for my wife and I to like play a little bit, and if we wanted to be able to play with more people, then we have to have more characters, of course. But for now, for the 2 of us, this is perfect. This is all we need, and this is a lot of fun. The Dice Throne is fantastic. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.